So thank you so much for taking the time out to sit with me tonight, Vanessa. So we have Vanessa Wari on the line. This is our queen, our sister, and Vanessa is a MSW clinical psychology. No. Clinical, see, I forgot that fast. Vanessa,
I'm a MSW intern.
MSW,
intern.
MSW intern. So you're working in the field of social work, correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So one of the main reasons we're interviewing Vanessa is today is because Vanessa is one of the few Black women and even fewer Black trans women who's actually gotten the vaccine. So within our community, there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear around getting this vaccine. What was your motivation in signing up?
Yeah. There were a few reasons why I decided to go and get it in the end. I think that the biggest reason was just it was a collective effort. I wanted to be a part of that 80% that got us to herd immunity and, made it possible for us to open and get back out there so we can start being around each other again. Um, I think that there's been a point, certainly for me, and I'm sure several people can relate to, where for those of us who did actually quarantine and take this seriously for about a year, we're all hitting a wall.
Right.
We're all sick of it, right? We're sick of being at home. We're sick of not being able to hug people and see people. And I'm not gonna lie, like I still admittedly am still halfway on the fence about how I feel about it. I just knew that this is what needs to be done in order to get me back in the room with some of the people that I really love and care about. So yeah, I made the decision to be part of the few folks, or the 80% of the population who gets
Right. And
vaccinated.
being able to be back around your loved ones is a good enough reason as any. So tell us about the experience. So have you had both vaccinations or just one?
I have had both vaccinations. I got both vaccinations not that long ago.
Okay, so tell us about the first one. How was your first, from start to finish?
Okay.
It was hard for a lot of people to even get the appointment. So how did you get in to get an appointment?
Yeah, so I was lucky through my internship. I am considered an essential worker providing therapy. So that was my in. Um, and, I set up my appointment. It took a bunch of navigation, and it took a few failed attempts just because, we're still trying to figure out the most efficient system for getting folks signed up and getting their appointments. So the website was always crashing, and appointments are available 1 minute and you refresh and they're gone. So that was the initial challenge, but eventually I was able to get my first appointment. I went over to the mass vaccination site at Dodger Stadium. It was a drive-up experience. If anyone who knows me knows that I love dystopian like worlds and these like post-apocalyptic scenes, but like watching it in a movie and like showing up in real life is two separate experiences
Right.
for sure. You got the tents everywhere and checkpoints, and it was a little daunting. I also went by myself and I went at night.
Did that give you any like more reservations? Did it make you more nervous about taking it? Did you second guess yourself after feeling like, okay, this is a little more real than the movies?
I don't think that it made me second guess taking the vaccine. I think it unsettled the like boldness and like confidence that I went into this with. Like when I show up and there's just cars upon cars upon cars, and of course once you pull past a certain point, there's a car right behind you. It's
No
single
looking
file
back.
line. There's no looking back. You are in it. It is happening. So that part was a little scary. Also, I've just never been in a situation where it's a whole bunch of tents and nurses and scrubs and masks, and everyone has this very like succinct process for getting you from the entrance to your shot and even
Very
beyond your
systematic.
shot.
Yeah.
Very systematic. But you know what? Also very impressive considering the rapid turnaround, and whatever hiccups have been provided. I was also impressed as much as I was like, oh shoot, I'm in this now. Um,
Okay, so you got the vaccine. Did you get the vaccine and pull off? I've heard about a waiting period. Did you have to do the waiting and observation?
Yeah, so they make everybody sit for a period to observe and make sure that you haven't had an allergic reaction, and that everything is just all fine. And again, because you're sort of in this single file line, you're not going anywhere. Even if you wanted to be like, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm leaving, like that's just not
Right.
an option. You're really in it for this collective experience. Like you look to your left and you look to your right, and there's just rows of cars with people who are boxed in just like you, waiting to get their shot and being observed and waiting to be let go. Um, it was a lengthy process. Like appointments didn't really count for much except for facilitate when you showed up to Dodger Stadium. On average, it still took me about 2.5 hours total, both times. Uh,
A
and
little longer than the average doctor visit. Like
yeah,
sometimes we're in there about that long.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there have been some really long doctor's visits. I don't know. That's the part about doctor's visits I hate.
Yeah. Like on time or not, you are in for a wait.
You are in for a wait. Yeah, so I definitely wish, I brought, well, I have my phone and my charger, so I guess that's all I really needed because there were
Okay.
definitely plenty stop and go moments.
So
But
now I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say, all in all, I got it done.
So during that waiting period, did you experience any side effects? Was there anything alarming?
So I won't say alarming. I will transparently say that, within, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the shot, I definitely felt a little unsettled in my stomach. A very light nausea. Um, Not like I was going to throw up or anything, but just I was very aware of this discomfort in my stomach. But that was it. Um, Everything was fine. They let us, I didn't experience any more symptoms in that moment with my first shot. And yeah, I didn't experience more symptoms until a little bit later. When I got home, I started to feel loopy. I started to feel, I don't know, groggy, like, laughing gas at the dentist or something where you're just out of it. Or if you've ever woken up from a surgery and you still have anesthesia in your system, it was similar to that feeling. I felt drunk and sleepy and off. I wasn't like walking in a straight line. I was kind of swaying and stumbling all over the place. Um, and that was it. Like I just figured, hey, I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna have a great night. And that's what I did. I did. Yep, my body took over and was like, I got it from here. I closed my eyes and I woke up the next morning, and that's when I think that I noticed a lot more of the symptoms, or for me, because I've also heard that, different strips for different folks, people have experienced no symptoms at all. I woke up the next morning and my head just felt heavy, like I didn't want to pick it up out of the pillow, like I could just stay in bed and lay there all day. And I wasn't complaining, right? I wouldn't have been complaining, but I had school, which made it difficult. And so I was just generally very out of it for that day. Um, I think there was a brief moment where I had a little heavy breathing, or it felt like someone was sitting on my chest. And I'm not sure how much of that I am just freaking out about or imagined, or, was maybe just blowing things out of proportion.
Right.
You get the vaccine and you thinking coronavirus, and now, you swear you're experiencing the symptoms, but are you really? I don't know.
Right, like how much of it was psychological and how much was actual?
Definitely, definitely. So,
And
but
how long did that last?
the chest discomfort, it only lasted like 30 minutes. It was only like an episode, an hour at max, and then it went away. And I think over a 72-hour period, I experienced that twice for about 30, 45 minutes, twice in a 3-day period from my first COVID
Okay.
shot.
So the 72 hours passes and now you have your second shot set out for how far out?
I believe that it was a month. Let's see. I got my first shot on the 17th of January, and I got my second shot on the 18th of February. So about a month apart.
Do you know which manufacturer's shot you got?
Yeah, I got the Moderna vaccine both times.
Okay, awesome. So after the 72 hours, you got your appointment scheduled about a month out. The 72 hours is gone and you're feeling back to normal?
Yeah, I'm back to normal, up and around running.
Wow, that sounds really great. I've heard a lot of different things. So like this is really comforting to know that you had little bouts of it, but it gives us a sense of like what we're gonna feel so that when we do go through it, we're not like afraid or like, beating ourselves up, feeling like we made the wrong decision here to get the
Mhm.
vaccine. So these are some things to expect. That's good to know. So
Yeah.
now, so the month comes up and it's time for that second vaccine shot. We've all heard that that one is the kicker. So what was that experience like?
Um, same process as I explained before. I think this one was a little better because I took somebody with me, for like just social support and company. And that changed the dynamic of it already because 2 hours was just, a kiki at that point.
Right.
Um, and, I got the shot. I was the only person getting the shot. Same thing happened 5, 10 minutes after injection. I start noticing a little queasiness. But, it actually, I did not have any other symptoms for the remainder of that following 72-hour period. I didn't have the loopiness. I didn't have the, headache or the chest pain or anything like that.
So for
You
you, the
know,
second shot was actually better. It was
yeah,
easier?
I would say the only thing I experienced was nausea. Admittedly, I might have experienced nausea a little longer than the first 5 or 10 minutes after the shot. I might have experienced it for a few hours after, but still very minor, nothing major. Never felt like I wanted to throw up or puke or anything. Just, just a little queasy maybe. But then once that went away, that was it.
Definitely given me some insight and made me rethink possibly taking this vaccine. I was
Yeah,
really, really,
about it.
I'm really nervous. I've always had reservations, never been a vaccine girl, never had any type of flu vaccines or anything like that. I even think I stopped getting my elementary school vaccines a little early. So, like, I've just never been the girl for vaccines. But after doing a little research and understanding how mRNA drugs work and hearing about your experience, it does give me a little comfort. I find some solace in that. So thank you so much for stopping by and for participating in this. One of the last questions I do want to ask you, being that you're in a clinical setting and I believe you're working with youth, right?
Yeah, yeah. I work with little kids. I do early intervention therapy. So I'm working with like 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. It's
We
adorable.
love the kids, yes. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing um, in regards to how COVID has really affected some of the clients that you're working with.
It's absolutely affected them. Like I said earlier, I think if you've been taking this seriously and you've been quarantining and doing what you need to stay home, you're hitting a wall right about now, and that's completely understandable. And I think that my kiddos are experiencing the exact same, if not worse, because they're young, and these are 4, 5, and 6 are critical times where we're supposed to be out and experiencing our world and experiencing each other, and the kids are now having to adapt to school online and Zoom meetings, Zoom therapy with me, and they can't see their friends, they can't go to the park, they can't hang out anymore.
Isn't this the
So
age where they're like a sponge and where they're also learning to form relationships with one another
and
oh,
experiment and get out there and play and learn about their world through playing and learning how to make friends. And yeah, these are absolutely crucial ages for like human development. And so when they're stuck up in the house, and they can't see their friends and they can't go outside and play, and life just sort of comes crashing to a halt. I mean, I remember being a kid. I'm sure you remember being a kid. Like
right.
certain times when your mama or daddy told you couldn't go out to play and the world was over for you.
Right. Now the world is almost literally over right now. So
Definitely, definitely. So, I really feel for them. As somebody who is there to work on behavior and support with behavior, I'm definitely seeing a link between COVID-19 and, the quarantine and stay-at-home orders as contributing to any behavioral issues that we're seeing in kids. Kids are anxious, kids are depressed, kids are acting out, and I don't blame them. This is unheard of for a lot of us. Like,
we're
so
adults and we're barely handling it. Last question, what advice do you have for anyone who has a young brother or sister, anyone who has youth close to them, who may even be working with youth or may even have a child? What do you have for anybody in our community who's close to a young one? Any advice you can give them in regards to coping with this?
yeah, spend as much time as you can with them. I think that I've even been learning as I've been supporting a lot of parents, the importance of intentional quality time. You know, they are used to having a jam-packed full day of quality time with a wide variety of people. And now, all they got is you, and they really are relying on you to provide that support. So read a book, play a game, draw together, figure it out, be creative, make a meal together. Now could be a great time to teach them how to bake those cookies or, take up a little indoor gardening project. The possibilities are literally endless, but the only thing I do know is they need your time. You know,
I think that's really big right now. Intentional quality time. That's a phrase we all really need to think about and like marinate on. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for stopping by. It was an honor for you to like provide all your insight, and actually it was just an honor to have you here. Thank you for all of your insight. Thank you for answering all of my questions. Thank you for sharing your experience, and we hope that you will stop by again.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for thinking about me. It's always a pleasure to get in these spaces and have needed conversations led by us. And I definitely look forward to coming back and chatting with you soon.
So thank you so much. You have a great night,
You too.
and we'll be talking soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.